The landlubbers amongst you might think a white sand beach is the thing, but if you're on a boat, it's evil stuff. Yeah, anyone that brings sand on a boat gets immediately thrown overboard.
I know, we've lost so many crew. And welcome to Alero in Sardinia.
Yeah, we've been putting in lots of sea miles in the last couple of weeks along the southern edge of Sicily across to Sardinia. All sorts of weather, but it's getting really hot now. We're putting the summer bimini up.
Yeah, we are, if we can find the connectors.
Yeah, I'll put them somewhere safe, really safe, so I can't actually find them at the moment.
I hope you like the film. Coming up, a march up a hill to a castle with a troubled past. Spending time on a small holiday island, just beaches and bikes. And leaving Sicily in storm winds, rain and a night crossing to Sardinia. Our sail along the southern coast of Sicily begins beautifully. Good wind, flat seas, perfect. After our night sail from Malta, we spend a few days anchoring in little bays, barely seeing a soul. Our aim is to spend time on the islands west of the mainland before heading to Sardinia. Good breeze makes for lovely sailing, but this is a coastline with little shelter. So at night, the onshore breeze can result in some swell.
Okay, so we're working our way along this coast, and last night we had quite a nice little anchorage, but it was really quite rolly when the wind died down. We had quite strong wind when we went to sleep, and quite a bit of chop and swell, but of course you're aligned with it then. But as soon as that wind dies, we would just slide onto the swell and rolling quite a lot. And you can see at the moment it's not too much swell, a little bit coming in, and if you look at the boat, not really rolling at the moment because there's a little bit of breeze and we're sort of in line with it. But I've been using the Orca here. This is the anchor watch thing for the Orca. I'll put it up here just to show you. And you can see at the top there, it's showing wind, waves, current. So the wave's going to stay, so the swell is going to stay at this sort of angle coming in according to this, and the wind is going to change. So when that wind changes, it'll take us around and we'll be side onto this and we'll be rolling a whole lot more than we are at the moment. So I'm going to stick the kedge anchor out. We've got our nice Danforth anchor here, so I'll take that out in the dinghy, stick it out the back, and hopefully that'll be enough to keep us straight and out of the swell. It's a pretty straightforward process really, but we had lots of questions after the Anchoring 101 video, so I have made a short technical video.
After a less rocky night, we arrive at Favignana, where we intend to stay for a couple of days. There is a castle, and that means a climb. But not before we make sure the anchor is set in one of the few patches of sand. Seagrass, it seems, is doing very well here.
Well, we started fairly early this morning, but I think we picked the warmest day so far.
The warmest and the stillest.
Yeah, there is absolutely no wind.
There was in the anchorage though, so we were fooled. Yeah,
thought there'd be a bit more up here, but it's fairly clear skies, so you get quite a nice view out. Can't really see Sicily, it's just in the mists over there. It's where we sailed from the other day. And this Levanzo is another one of there's three sort of main islands here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's very nice. Boats coming in and out, so you could actually come in the harbour this side. It looks like some people have moored sort of just in there, a couple of catamarans in there.
And there's a beach by that town as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So this is Favignana.
It is. Worth a visit, I would say.
Yeah, it's good.
It's very pretty. And there's a castle we're making our way towards.
Yeah. And our friends Paul and Nicole have told us that we should visit the last island in the chain as well. So if the wind is right, we'll try and do that as well.
It does feel like a march, and back in the 15th century, when Fort St Catherine first became a castle, this was the very steep back route up. Well, I've downloaded a new app called Wikiloc for this particular walk. We gave up on all trails, but too difficult for us. Anyway, Wikiloc is saying it'll be about half an hour. So she talks to me, half an hour to get to the castle. Sounds great. Little rest stop, except there's no one there. Keep going, come on, keep going. I'm such a taskmaster. That lady told me half an hour.
Yeah, I think
that
longer.
was well over an hour ago and we're not there yet. Still, maybe we just go slower than everyone else. Whew.
These walls at the top of the castle, but any army coming up here is going to be so knackered by the time they get here. They're not going to be able to fight.
Yeah. The walls are in good condition and there is a fantastic view. But there's something about this place, something not quite right. See right to the edge of the island. I'm told from the top you can see all the way around. Let's have a look.
There's not much left of it, really.
There isn't. This bit you can see there were obviously different floors.
Yeah. It doesn't look ancient though.
No.
Find out when it was built. There's lots of bits of iron in the construction. You got a roof terrace.
Wow, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Look at it. Proper view.
That is lovely. A beautiful vista on the top of Mount Catalina, but in the early 19th century, no one who lived here saw this site. This was a prison, and 32,000 mainly political prisoners were held here and tortured. After the revolt of 1860, the castle was looted and left, and now it really is just a viewpoint for people like us.
Hey, look, we came up that steep path around the back.
I know. We could have just come up steps. We'll go down by the steps.
And you can see Fair Isle in the anchorage, just in there. So it's a bit easier coming down.
It is, I feel like I'm healing. I'm going in a straight line, but I'm at an angle.
Yeah, it's a steep path.
It is. At the bottom, the town is bustling, dominated by the home of the local family here, who made their fortune selling tuna. But the real charm of this island comes with the beaches and bikes. Hardly anyone travels by car. There's a tour train and, of course, plenty of boats. By now we have a taste for small island life, so we head off for Maritimo, an island where all the inhabitants live in just one town. There is plenty of wind, but it comes with storm clouds and the beginnings of more choppy seas. There's just us and the ferry making our way to the harbour. Time to take care.
So we're coming into Maritimo, but looking at Navigli, we all talk about the anchorage. You can anchor either side of the town here, but both sides, loads of rocks, people saying they're getting their anchor caught. So we had a bit of a look on Google Earth, and it looks like we spotted a little patch that, at least when the satellite picture was taken, looked clear and looked like it was sand. So we put a little spot in the plotter, exactly where that is. So we'll see if we can find it. It's somewhere in here. It's over there. It's a little spot here. There's a bigger one over there. And let's just hope that just isn't a big rock right in the middle of it. Just drop it there. What depth we got? 5.5. 5.5, lovely. Yeah, I think that's in the white stuff. I can feel it a bit hard stuff down there, so I don't want to get it stuck.
We're a bit concerned about leaving the boat, but need a quick trip into town.
So we're off in the dinghy because we made the usual mistake. I think we've been in Montenegro too long and shops open what we would consider normal times, but in the rest of the Mediterranean there's quite often a 4-hour lunch break. We got caught out yesterday on our walk. Everything was closed. So this one closes at 1, does it?
It does. I think we'll just about make it. It was a bit swelly, as you can see, when we came in. So he wants to make sure the anchor is set, and the clock was ticking. I was like, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Then we just had to take the risk and jump in the dinghy.
Yeah.
Woo!
We should make it without getting too wet. There's a bit of a swell coming in.
There really is.
The wind's dropped a bit though.
Yeah.
It's great. And
Temporarily.
Judy hasn't got a dress on inside out. That is fashion.
Oh.
I know these things.
Thank you, Chessie, for my dress.
Yes, it's definitely a Chessie fashion, that one.
Chessie is the daughter who works in fashion and knows about these things. Steve really doesn't. Now back to Maritimo.
Oh, it's a sweet little place, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit sort of Greek-like, isn't it, with its blue,
Yeah, it is.
blue and white.
If it meets my needs. Thank you.
We found it, supermarket.
We get there just in time to buy some food for tonight. And fantastic fruit.
Oh, big avos.
Yeah,
Some of
very
those.
nice.
Next morning we wake up to the wind and promised rain, which comes and goes as we move around the island.
Oh nice, just going to lose the wind in this bit.
We are. Come on, we've got enough power, I think. What a lovely place to be anchored.
Yeah, it's found a good spot. Well, it's wet, but it's good sailing. Lovely flat water and lots of wind, so we are blasting our way through here.
She's working hard, isn't she?
I was just getting weather helm in the gusts, that's all. There's so much weather helm on this bit. Need to balance these sails up a little bit. Once we're clear of this last bit of headland, should stop all this really weird gusts that we're getting. But at least we've got some speed. It's flat water, it's nice.
Over there is sunshine, and luckily that's where we're going.
But balancing the sails isn't so easy when a car is coming loose,
Better.
as Steve discovers.
This pin goes all the way through. If it comes out, this sheet would be flying around with this lump of bronze on it, so don't want that to happen, so I'm glad I spotted it. Put it back in. Once we get in port, I'll take it all the way out and put some Loctite on it, put it back in again. Right, let's get the sheet lead forward anyway, because it'll see from there.
Okay. The thing about sailing, you can spend hours just watching birds. These shearwaters followed us out.
There were 3 of them originally. This one's by far the most loyal to us. The two others just scattered off. He flies really close to the water. I think he just likes us. The wind drops, but we get a rainbow, so not so bad. And then the wind comes up, so we set the sails again. And it's time to browse the podcast downloads ready for the night shifts. But it's been quite an interesting day, weather-wise. We've had wind, no wind, wind from pretty much every direction, and rain. And now finally we've settled in. None of the predictions said we'd have wind on the nose. It's coming from the sort of northwestish now. Nope, no one saw that coming. But it's been great. We're doing about 5 knots and we're heading in the right direction. So we should reach Sardinia tomorrow night. So far so good. I'm taking the first night shift. Steve's having a little bit of a kip, and then we'll swap over in 3 or 4 hours.
Well, we've got the moon, but we haven't got any wind. It died just before midnight. Completely dead. I mean, we had 20 knots before that. It was perfect. We were whizzing along at 7 knots directly to where we wanted to go from. But the wind was coming from the northeast, and none of the predictions said that was happened. So I don't really know where we stand now, whether the wind's going to come back, and if it does, what direction it's going to come back from. So just motoring towards the destination and hoping that we'll get something.
As dawn breaks, it is still flat calm, but we turn the engine off anyway for an hour or so to give us all a bit of a rest.
Well, all is very, very quiet this morning. This is what it looks like when you are totally becalmed. Amazing, isn't it? Not even a breath of wind, sadly. And we've still got, I don't know, lots of hours to go.
I think that is the longest we've ever had to motor. Not fun, but at last we arrive. Cagliari is the largest city in Sardinia and where we check in. We can anchor in the harbour in this spot, but the area is huge and the ports police are a 20-minute dinghy ride away. It's not even on the dockside. Really, it's tucked away here. Luckily, checking in is very quick. Then just as we're planning to move on, this happens. We pick up a cable on the anchor.
So we're pulling this back quite hard against us. So Julie's just going to move the boat forward a little bit to give me a bit of slack before I drop it off. So we're going to use the Ultra Trip hook. Got the line spliced on. I've got a halyard on the other side. Judy's on the end of the halyard. Little hook on there. It's got a little bar on the back. And then we'll lift it and trip it off. And once it's lifted off, I just pull on the blue one and that's it, it's released. Done. So that's good because it's difficult to get those things off, you know, without that hook. So the anchor's there now, I can just bring it the rest of the way up. Job done.
From the industrial bustle of the harbour, we move a few miles down the coast to the tranquility of our own private bay. Now this is the Sardinia we know and absolutely love.
Sardinia does have some unbelievably beautiful bays. I mean, look at this place. We're the only people in here. Got our own fantastic little private beach at the end there. Lovely rocks over here. The seagulls think that's theirs. They're obviously mistaken. But this is the thing. Anyone that's thinking about having this life, coming cruising for a bit, maybe going back to normal life, forget that, because you're never ever going to go back to a normal life after this. I mean, think of going on holiday, and those poor people on holiday coming in coaches and staying in hotels and not having this view and their own private beach. It's not going to happen. So just beware, if you're ever going to think of coming cruising, that's you spoilt forever. Off to our private beach then.
Yeah, yes, us and the seagulls, but boat-wise, just us. It's cute, and the sun's come out.
The good weather does make a difference. That and crystal clear water.
Even got a decent beach. Hasn't got the evil fine sand.
It's stones, isn't it?
It's sort of, yeah,
But small stones.
little pebbly bits, but that's fine. The landlubbers amongst you might think a white sand beach is the thing, but if you're on a boat,
It is.
if you're on a boat, it's evil stuff. Yeah, anyone that
Love
brings sand on a
sand.
boat gets immediately thrown overboard.
I know, we've lost so many crew. This looks like quite a substantial path, but I think it's seen better days. I think the rivers have gone down it, haven't they?
Yeah, good to see, but I suppose there's hills behind, so there must in the winter be a bit of a torrent coming down here. A bit washed away.
It is, look at that.
Good for a quad bike.
Good for a quad bike, but I wouldn't bicycle though.
No.
Good for a walk. Very pretty coastal walk here.
It is a place you can spend all day in perfect isolation. The rest of Sardinia is equally beautiful, and that is still to come.
Yes, that was a particularly lovely bay, but Sardinia's full of them. I mean, the last week has been amazing.
Yeah, it seems to specialise in really clear water, Sardinia.
Yeah.
It was like that the first time when we came through about 3 years ago. And now, yeah, travelling up the west coast, it's lovely. It's not an easy coast to sail though, is it? Because
Yeah.
the weather's not been that stable actually.
No, and I think that's the case in the whole of the Med. Friends of ours who are in Greece and other parts of the Balearics have just said exactly the same thing. Odd stormy weather
Yeah.
with rain, and we've had some of that as well.
Yeah, coming in from the west, and there's just not a
Yeah.
lot of shelter on that west coast. So we found a couple of places. We're up at Alero now, which is sort of up in the north, and it's well, settled now. The weather's now coming offshore, so that's
We
okay.
hope.
But it's hot and it's muggy, and that's why we're trying to get the old Bimini up.
Yes, getting the bimini up. So we couldn't find the connectors, and that has led, as things do sometimes, to a bit of a clear out and a bit of a tidy up. And yes,
Big clear out. You wouldn't want to see a forward cabin at the moment. I've pulled
No.
everything out of every cupboard in there because it ended up being a dumping ground for camera and computer and bits that don't get used very much. I was hoping while we were doing that to find these connectors, and I haven't. So yeah, I think next one is going to be the aft cabin, but we've got the Tupperware now to cope, haven't we?
we have. I don't think there's any Tupperware left in Alero because we found a Chinese shop and we bought it all.
We did. I am going to get furiously going with the labeler now and just label everything
Yeah.
up, all my spares, and hopefully in the process of doing that we'll find the bits for this and the bits to lock our hatches, which we seem
And
to
a
have lost
few
as
other
well.
things that
Yeah.
we have lost along the way.
Yeah.
So our plan now is to stay here for a day or so, then go into the northern part of Sardinia where there's some even more beautiful bays.
Probably not time to see Corsica, which is a shame because I know it's lovely, but we're going to get across the Balearics, so it's Menorca first, then Mallorca, and onwards and on to Gibraltar.
Yeah, onwards and upwards as ever, or not
Onwards
upwards.
and westwards.
Yes, westwards, that's what
do.
I meant to say. So thank you very much to our patrons, and thank you to our subscribers, that always helps as well, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.